Hello, fans, and welcome to This Day in Baseball, where we're going to bring you a full radio broadcast of today's game. And before we do that, I just want to thank Classic Baseball Radio, and there's a link in the notes where you can check out their full channel. They have many great radio broadcasts. And while you're listening to today's game, if you want to check out much more about the game and the players, look on the links below, and you're going to see links to player pages, the date the game happened, the year it happened, and the play-by-play. Enjoy the game, and check out the links while you're watching the game. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that every time new content comes out, you're going to get that firsthand. And thank you again for checking out This Day in Baseball, and enjoy the game.
From Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and welcome to the fifth game of the 1971 World Series. We are all tied up in the first night game in World Series history. Last night, Pittsburgh won an exciting ball game by the score of 4-3 to tie the Orioles 2 games apiece. Today's fifth game, a tiebreaker, brought to you by the Gillette Company. Jim Simpson along with Bill O'Donnell. The temperature at game time, 67 degrees. It is expected to get to 70 this afternoon. Some light rain showers earlier this morning, but only 10% chance of rain this afternoon. Down in the right field bullpen, working for the first time since September the 30th, Nelson Briles, today's starter for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And down the left field line in the Baltimore bullpen, Dave McNally, who today will make his 7th World Series start. He was the winner in the opener in Baltimore last Saturday, 5-3.
Thank you, Jim Simpson, and good afternoon, everybody, from Three River Stadium here in Pittsburgh. And if you'd ask about a simplification statement as to what has happened in the first 4 games of the World Series, well, the simple statement is Baltimore strong at home and Pittsburgh strong at home. Back in Baltimore for games 1 and 2, the Pirate run production was cut off very strongly by both Dave McNally and by Jim Palmer. And then the two clubs moved to Pittsburgh for games 3 and 4 of this World Series, and back come the Pirates with strong pitching, especially in Game 3 by a starter, and more especially in Game 4 by relievers here last night, young Bruce Keeson and veteran bullpen ace Dave Justy. Now, over these last 2 games here at Pittsburgh, the Oriole bats have really been completely silenced. Only 3 base hits against Blass in Game 3. And then last night against starter Walker, who was knocked out in the very first inning, then followed by much stronger relief early by Messrs. Keeson and Justy. Oriole bats were silenced with only 4 base hits. Now, back in Baltimore in Game 1, the Orioles had 10 hits and beat the Pirates 5-3. In Game 2, they had 14 base hits, all of them singles, and they drilled the Pirates by a score of 11-3. But since the second game of this World Series, the Fall Classic now has completely turned around. As a matter of fact, although the series could end naturally in 6 games, by Baltimore winning 2 in a row or by Pittsburgh winning 2 in a row, most everybody thinks that it might go 7 games. As far as Baltimore is concerned, it figures, as the Pirates did a day or so ago with Willie Stargell, Baltimore now figures that it must get some power and base hits off the bat of Boog Powell. Powell has only 1 base hit in 15 trips in this World Series, and maybe his day will be today, just as it was a Willie Stargell night last evening. Going into the ball game last night, Stargell was only 1 for 7 in the first 3 games. The National League Championship Series plus the World Series. Going in last night, Big Willie was 1 for 21, and he snapped out completely last night, had 2 base hits, and a key blow was his first hit of the ball game when he drove over the first Pirate run. Pirate pitching the last 2 days, plus the strong Pirate hitting, has tied up this World Series now at 2 victories apiece. If there has been a surprise, and say the number 1 surprise, it has been a slight collapse in the Baltimore defense. We say slight collapse because going into the series, most everybody thought, and although it still exists, it has not existed so far, that Baltimore had the very best defensive club in all of baseball. In the series, however, Baltimore has committed 8 errors in 4 games. The Pirates, on the other hand, not considered anywhere near as good a defensive ball club as Baltimore. The Buccos have committed but 1 error, and that was in Game 2 by the outfielder Al Oliver. Now, from a comeback standpoint, Baltimore is going today with Mr. Clutch, with Mr. Ice Cubes of their pitching staff, namely 21-game winner Dave McNally. He is the pressure-packed pitcher on the Baltimore staff, a young fellow who never beats himself. As a matter of fact, whom a writer in Cumberland, Maryland, by the name of Suter Kegg, once nicknamed McNally the Billings Bulldog. And by the Bulldog tag, of course, that's self-explanatory. McNally's hometown is Billings, Montana. A fellow who pitches well with pain, who pitches obviously just as well without pain. And his right-handed Pirate starting counterpart will be Nelson Briles. Now, Briles has not made a pitching appearance since the 30th of September, and that was 2 weeks ago today. And you remember that last night, the 2 starting pitchers, namely Luke Walker and Pat Dobson, they hadn't pitched in quite a while. Walker hadn't been out in 21 days. He did not survive the Baltimore 3-run first inning. Dobson had not been out in 2 weeks. He was shaky all through the ball game, and he came out in the 6th inning. So the question today around Nelson Briles is the same question that existed here last night. Is this lack of work, will this lack of work hurt Briles this afternoon against Baltimore? Talking, as we did a couple of moments ago, about people and maybe even experts thinking about a 7-game World Series. The last time we had a 7-game World Series was back in 1968. That's when the Tigers beat the Cardinals after St. Louis had gone ahead in that 68 World Series, 3 victories to 1. The Tigers then came back, especially behind Mickey Lolich, and they won the last 3, and they won that 68 7-game World Series, 4 victories to 3. The year before, the Cardinals again were involved in a 7-game series. That one they won, defeating the Red Sox 4 victories to 3. Now, the Orioles have been in all other series before and since the ones involving the Tigers, the Cardinals, and the Red Sox. But Baltimore has never played in either a 6 or a 7-game World Series. In 1966, Baltimore swept the favored Dodgers 4 straight. In 1969, they lost to the Mets 4 victories to 1. A year ago, they ran right by Cincinnati in a 5-game series and beat the Reds 4 victories to 1. So right now, entering Game 5, we must have at least Game 6 or Game 7. Baltimore is in its longest World Series. Pittsburgh, the last time it was in a Fall Classic, played in a 7-game World Series, and on record, perhaps one of the most dramatic in all of World Series history. That was the 1960 Classic against the great Yankee Ball Club, won by the Pirates. They won it 4 victories to 3. They won that 7-game series here in Pittsburgh on the very dramatic bottom of the 9th inning home run by Bill Mazeroski, one of the few fellows who is still on the Pittsburgh Ball Club here in 1971. Now, so much about the background to our series games to date, a little information about our ball game today, and a background about some series games of recent years. Now, the lineups. The visiting Baltimore Orioles have Don Buford in the leadoff spot. Buford to play in left field. Batting second, and playing in center field will be Paul Blair. Baltimore first baseman Boog Powell bats next. Powell batting number 3. In right field, and to date he has carried the strongest Baltimore bat, is veteran National Leaguer and American Leaguer Frank Robinson. Robinson is 7 for 14 in this series, including 2 home runs, 8 home runs overall in World Series competition. Frank Robinson bats 4th, and he will be the right fielder. With Pittsburgh starting a right-hander, 28-year-old Nelson Briles, Baltimore will catch its left-handed swinger, Elrod Hendricks, and Hendricks bats number 5. Then to Mr. Clutch in the hitting attack, Brooks Robinson at third base. Batting 7th and playing at second base will be Dave Johnson. The Orioles shortstop Mark Belanger bats 8th, and Baltimore's Dave McNally does the pitching, and he bats 9th. Now, before we bring you the Pirate order, here, ladies and gentlemen, is our national anthem. Truly, ladies and gentlemen, it is always a dramatic moment, especially before a World Series game, to hear the playing and the singing of a national anthem. But we've had something added to a dramatic moment, a kind of a sentimental moment, as the national anthem was just sung beautifully by Jill Corey, the widow of the former Pirate third baseman Don Hoke, who was with that 1960 championship Pittsburgh Ball Club. We'll continue with our pregame highlights right after this message.
Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Coming through for Chrysler Plymouth. Here's a song that tells you something about a little car for you. Plymouth Cricket coming through. If you're looking for a little car that's a lot of fun and a little bigger than many other little cars, look at the 1972 Plymouth Cricket. You want a car that's built to last, and it's still good looking too. Chrysler Plymouth knows you want your car that way. From the inside to the outside, it's a car that's here to stay. That's the kind of car that's coming through today. Chrysler Plymouth coming through.
Together with Jim Simpson, Bill O'Donnell, back with you again at Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Stadium. We gave you the Baltimore lineup card a couple of moments ago before the singing of the national anthem, and now for the Pirate attack this afternoon in Game 5. The leadoff man will be Pirates second baseman Dave Cash. He'll be followed by Gene Clines. Clines to play in center field. Batting third and in right field will be the strong bat of Roberto Clemente. And we should not just simply say just strong bat. We should also say strong-armed Roberto Clemente in right field. Batting fourth and playing in left field will be Willie Stargell. Stargell in left field. Playing at first base and batting in the number 5 spot will be Bob Robertson. Robertson at first base. The Pirate catcher, as he has been in every game thus far of this World Series, will be Manny Sanguillén. Sanguillén back of the plate. The third baseman for the Pirates will be Jose Pagan. Pagan at third base, and he bats 7th. The shortstop will be Jackie Hernandez. Hernandez at short. Batting 9th and doing the Pirate pitching will be Nelson Briles. Briles, he's kind of built on the chunky side, 5 feet 11, 200 pounds. Briles is 28 years old. During the 1971 season, he made 14 starts for Danny Murtaugh, had 4 complete outings in those 14 starts, including 2 shutouts, winning 8, losing 4. And here are the Pirates now, breaking out of their first base dugout to take the field. The umpires today, and we have 6 of them. Jim Odom will be back at the plate. John Kibler will be at first base. The umpire at second will be Nestor Shylock. Umping at third will be Ed Sudol. And the foul line umpires, John Rice down the left field side, and on the opposite corner down the right field foul line is Ed Vargo. Briles has been warming with Manny Sanguillén. And let's right now pause 10 seconds for station identification.
This is WWJ Radio 1 in Detroit. News and information all day.
WWJ Radio 1, Radio 1.
His tune-up tosses to Sanguillén. Let's set the Pirate defense for you. They've got Jose Pagan stationed at third. They've got Jackie Hernandez anchored at short. They're playing young sensation Dave Cash at second base and long ball walloping Bob Robertson at first base. The Pirate outfield for Game 5 this afternoon in Bucktown will be Big Willie Stargell in left, Gene Clines in center, and Roberto Clemente in right field. Sanguillén does the catching, and Briles, the right-hander, does the pitching. Now, Briles, of course, has been in World Series competition before. That's when he was over in the National League with the St. Louis Cardinals, and Jim will tell you more about that. Don Buford is the leadoff man. And now, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, with pleasure, here is NBC's Jim Simpson.
Thank you, Bill O'Donnell. Don Buford, switch hitter. stepping in left-handed against the right-hander Briles, who is making his 5th World Series start. He has won 1 and lost 1. Has excellent control normally, but remember what happened last night with Luke Walker and Pat Dobson, but not pitched in 3 weeks. Briles has not pitched since September the 30th, and only 3 innings in that game against the Phillies, in which he pulled a muscle in his leg. Briles ready with the first pitch of the 5th game of the World Series. Swing foul back by Don Buford. Paul Blair is on deck. Walker did not last out the first inning last night, and Dobson battled for 6 innings, had a lot of stuff, but made some bad pitches, couldn't get the ball over. And control is Briles' strong suit. Less than 2 walks per 9 innings. Right-hander back, ready and throws high and away from Buford. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Pagan playing in on the artificial turf from third base. Buford, the best leadoff batter in the history of the Baltimore Orioles, reaching base more than 41% of the time, led the American League this past year in runs scored with 98. Briles ready again. Ball is hit high in the air and back at second base. Hernandez and Cash are there. Hernandez, the shortstop, says he's got it. And right in back at second base, takes it for the first out. That'll bring up Paul Blair, getting a start today on the strength of his fine hitting. Hitting at .600, 3 for 5, and has scored a couple of runs. Premier center fielder in the American League. Briles had 2 shutouts during the month of September, plus 3 complete games. A very strong month after a very shaky start. Briles throws to Blair, who fouls it out, a play off to the right. 1 strike. Temperature, game time, 67 degrees. The sun is very bright. Off to a right, coming in over the right field roof. Right in the eyes of the right-handed batters. 1 strike pitch to Blair. Swings and misses on a breaking pitch. 2 strikes. Briles primarily a breaking ball pitcher. Has the palm ball. Has the curve. Ready with a 2-strike pitch. Comes back, another breaking pitch, and Blair goes down swinging. Check that. As Blair foul-tipped the ball, Sanguillén could not hold on to it, so Paul has another life with 2 strikes. Now he's called out on strikes. Given a life, Paul Blair looks at a 3rd called strike. Those who follow the Orioles as Boog Powell steps in tell us that on several occasions throughout the year, the Orioles have looked as they have in these 2 games here in Pittsburgh. And that is not aggressive with the bat, taking too many pitches. 2 out now, top of the 1st. There's no score. Boog Powell with 1 hit and 15 tries. Had a sacrifice fly last night, a boomer, about 400 feet away. Left-handed batter, pitch, off-speed pitch, high and away from Boog Powell, and it's ball 1. Buford led off by popping to the shortstop. Blair looked at a 3rd called strike. 1 ball, no strikes. They are playing Powell to pull, of course. Hernandez on the first base side of second and well back on the turf. Ground ball right back to Briles. He has the easy throw to first base, and there's the 1, 2, 3 inning. Only in one of these 5 games has the Orioles failed to go down in 1, 2, 3 order. That was last night, and they lost the ball game 4-3. Runs, hits, or errors, none left. In the middle of the 1st, Baltimore nothing, and Pittsburgh coming to bat.
Dave McNally getting ready for his 2nd World Series start of 1971. And he'll face the Pirates' Dave Cash, Gene Clines, and Roberto Clemente. McNally back defensively by Brooks Robinson at 3rd. Mark Belanger short, Dave Johnson 2nd. Boog Powell 1st, Elrod Hendricks is catcher. McNally's Oriole outfield. Don Buford in left, Paul Blair in center, and Frank Robinson in right. Cash starts it off for the Pirates, and here's Jim Simpson again.
All right, Bill O'Donnell. Dave Cash hitting at 176, 3 for 17, but Dave has hit the ball very hard, most of the time right at somebody. Right-handed swinger. Very fast. McNally throws outside. Ball 1. You'll recall McNally had that bad problem in the first game, wildness. Walked a man, there was a wild pitch and a couple of errors, and gave up 3 runs, all of which were unearned. Then he settled down and pitched the 3-hitter. Back up high again. It is quickly 2-0 to Dave Cash. Pittsburgh and Pirate fans have come alive since coming back home, especially after last night's thriller to even the series at 2 apiece. McNally, the left-hander, to the right-hander, Cash, and misses the breaking pitch on the outside. It's 3-0 to Dave Cash. Gene Clines, the speedy center fielder, he is on deck. McNally has lost only one game since May the 28th. Back with a fastball down the middle. 3 balls, 1 strike, and Cash was taking all the way. He lost 9-4 at Detroit on September the 17th. And that's the only game, we'll repeat, that he has lost since May the 28th. 3-1 pitch. Left-hander throws. It's down low, and Cash is on with a walk. Up steps Gene Clines, who played in that first game, 0 for 4, faced McNally. Now, Clines at bat has exceptional speed. Cash at first base has excellent speed. Very difficult to double, and maybe with Clines at bat, Clemente next up, they'll have something going. No score. We're in the last of the first. Pirates, Dave Cash, leadoff man, is on base. Bouncing ball back to McNally. To Belanger at second base. Goes on to first base, and the safe at first base. Clines beats it out after hitting into the forced play. You cannot afford to take any time at all, and the Orioles did not, but still Clines, who runs from the right side of the plate, still got to first base in time to beat the throw. And here comes Roberto Clemente. Clemente has been in 11 World Series games, 7 in 1960, 4 so far in 1971, has hit safely in every one of them. Hitting at .471 for this series, 1 RBI. He is 8 for 17. And they play him around to the right, as always. Plan to hit to the opposite field. There goes the runner. Swing. The ball is foul down toward the third base coaching box, picked up by one of the ushers. But Clines was off and running. The record for most consecutive World Series games in which a player has hit, 17, held by the former Yankee Hank Bauer back in the mid-50s. Strike one, the count to Clemente. Clines not going this time. Clemente swings at a low outside pitch at strike 2. Again, we'll point out something that Bill and I have been pointing out throughout the series. Clemente is an excellent 2-strike hitter. Many times will take a couple of pitches for strikes and then go to work on the pitcher. Last night, he struck out in the first inning at a curveball. Run by the starter, Dobson. Ball is hit to the opposite field, right field. Frank Robertson goes back on the warning track. It's near the wall and has it as he bangs into the wall. And Clines comes back to first. Clemente, with that great opposite field power, drives Frank Robertson to the wall. And here is the Major League home run hitter, Willie Stargell. 48 to lead the majors. No score last to the first. Clines on at first base with 2 outs. McNally pitching out of the stretch, throws low and away to Stargell. 1 ball. I noticed early in the World Series and in the National League Championships, they were working Stargell in with the fastball. The last couple of games, and what he's been hitting in the last couple of games, the Oilers have, or I should say the Orioles, have been working him to the outside of the plate. McNally checks over at first base, and Clines is back in plenty of time. 1 ball, no strikes. Bob Robertson on deck. Fouled off to the left and back at third and then the upper deck. 1-1. Stargell hitting at .250 for the series. Scored a couple of runs, 1 RBI, 3 for 12. But Willie has walked 6 times. And being the free swinger he is, he's also struck out 5 times. There goes the runner, swing and a miss, the throw down to second base, in plenty of time with the stolen bases gone. Pirates have been showing speed since coming home. They've been stealing. Hernandez, Sanguillén, and now Clines. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Sargent was swinging on the pitch, protecting the runner Clines. Just does miss outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. They play Stargell around to the right, but Elrod Hendricks actually brought them in a few paces, meaning the outfielders. Balls have a tendency, if they drop in, to perhaps bounce over the outfielder's head here. Happened a couple of times last night. Ground ball toward shortstop. Belanger there on the second out. Has a little trouble digging it out, but throws on and gets Stargell in plenty of time. Clines was already around third base on his way home. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left at the end of 1. Baltimore nothing, Pittsburgh nothing.
Hi. And we've got a whole new World Series, as a matter of fact. 2 victories for Baltimore, 2 victories for Pittsburgh. As in Game 5, we go to the top of the 2nd inning, and Pirate right-hander Nelson Briles will be challenged by Frank Robinson, Elrod Hendricks, and Brooks Robinson. Let's bring back Jim Simpson.
Frank Robinson, hitting at .500, did not hit last night, was hit by a pitch and also walked intentionally. 7 for 14, scored 4 runs, and has 2 home runs. 0-0, Nelson Briles for his first outing since September the 30th. Leg apparently not bothering him. Throws, and the breaking pitch is down low. Ball 1. Bill and I would like to say hello to all of you listening through American Forces Radio, in Asia, in Europe, wherever you may be. As I used to say, we understand we're being heard by all the ships at sea. Briles is back, ground ball toward Pagan at third base, and back of the bag he takes and fires on, but umpire Ed Schulte over at third base says that ball is foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Talking to Ed Vargo, who was down the right field line today after that dispute last night on Roberto Clemente's home run, was it fair or foul? The Pirate bullpen said it was foul. Vargo said, when I've got a left-hander up there, perhaps a right-hander, I'm going to walk up the line a little bit so I'll have a better look at that line. There is a little fence in front of the higher fence. The umpires are suggesting they should put up a little piece of tin or something along the foul pole so that the umpires would have a better chance to tell. Robinson swings and misses with a good fastball from Briles. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But after all of the argument we had last night on the disputed home run by Clemente, the Pirate bullpen backed up the left field umpire today, John Rice, who was working the right field line last night, and said, yes, it was foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes, inside pitch, breaking pitch, pulled foul down the third base line. Still 1-2 to Frank Robinson, leadoff batter, in the top of the 2nd. There's no score. Tomorrow an off day, and then Saturday we will be back in Baltimore. 12:45 Eastern Time. 6th game of the World Series. Who's going to be on top? 3 games to 2. Baltimore or Pittsburgh? Briles ready. 1-2. Breaking pitch hit to the opposite field. May drop down there, but Robinson is back in plenty of time now in foul territory and takes it for the first out of the 2nd. Ball started off and then just kind of died behind first base down the line in foul territory. And Bob Robertson had plenty of time to catch up to it. Ellie Hendricks. When Luke Walker started last night, Andy Etchebarren came on, and Hendricks did not play. He had played in the first 3 games. Hitting a .300, 3 for 10, has an RBI. Briles, who played 6 years with the Cardinals, still lives in St. Louis, Missouri. Born out in Doris, California. Speaks several languages. Like to be a nightclub entertainer. Hendricks hits one straightaway center field. Clines starts in. Now must go back and off to his right, and about 350 feet away, takes it for the 2nd out. Well, for a man that hasn't pitched in 2 weeks and had problems with his thigh muscle, L.D. Briles of the Pirates has come on and has never really had anything more than a loud foul off of him. Buford popped out in the first. Blair struck out looking. Foul bounced back to Briles. Robinson fouled out to Bob Robertson. Now Hendricks flies to rather shallow center field. Here's Brooks Robinson, and that's ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Brooks hitting at .385, also did not get a hit last night. Fouls this one off to the right. He and Frank Robinson had hit in every game until last night. They did not get a hit in the first inning against Luke Walker, the starter, and Bruce Keeson and Dave Justy kept them down the rest of the way. Brooks is 5 for 13, 4 RBIs, and has scored 2 runs. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the pitch is up high to Brooks. It's 2-1. They play Robinson slightly around to the left and rather deep. And there's a ball drilled into center field. On comes Clines, and he'll have to take it on the first hop, and there's the first base hit. Robinson singles to center, and here is Dave Johnson, the second baseman. 3 for 15, hitting at .200, has a couple of RBIs. And they respect the power, Davey, who had a great year with a personal high of 18 home runs as they go deep for him, and again swung a little to the left. Riles ready. Pitch is on the inside corner to Leonard. Strike 1. On deck is Mark Belanger in this 0-0 game in the top of the second. And now Sanguillén signals Clines to come even more toward left field from his position in center. Riles working from the stretch. Throws a breaking pitch, popped up high. Short left center field. Hernandez goes out. Clines comes in. Hernandez gets out of the way, and Clines takes it for the third out. A run, 1 hit, no errors, and Brooks Robinson left at first base. We go to the last of the second in this scoreless ball game.
Phil O'Donnell and Jim Simpson, your hosts for Game 5 of the World Series as the Pirates now come on against Baltimore left-hander Dave McNally. And they'll first produce Bob Robertson. Okay, Jim.
Bob Robertson gets a big hand. He's the fellow that when they came back to Pittsburgh on Tuesday missed a bunt sign and instead swung away and produced a 3-run home run that put the game out of reach for the Orioles as Steve Blass won that third game 5-1. McNally swings, long drive, center field. Blair's on his way back near the wall. And it goes over 1-0. Didn't even get a chance to say that he missed a bunt sign on Tuesday to hit a 3-run home run. This time with nobody on, Robertson was up there to do what he does best. And with that uppercut swing of his, he drove the ball more than 410 feet away. Blair went straight away center right to the wall, and it dropped over. And now, as is the custom here in Pittsburgh, there's some paper on the field out near the 385 sign in left center field, and so time is called, and Don Buford will be called on to do a little house cleaning. Big, long strings or streamer of white paper. Manny Sanguillén hitting at .294, the speedy catcher, who was guilty last night of a couple of base-running errors. Here's the batter. Sanguillén last night rounded second base on a bouncer back to Dobson, the pitcher, who ran over, forced him back to second, tossed to Belanger to nip him off at second base, and then on the ball dropped by Blair out in right center field. Robertson was holding at third, but Sanguillén was all the way around second, and he was a dead duck. Sanguillén takes up high from McNally. Ball 1. 1-0, the Pirates. They break on top in an effort to go back to Baltimore, leading 3-2. McNally, the left-hander, throws way up high. Hendricks has to grab for it, and now immediately races to the mound to talk to Dave McNally. You heard Bill O'Donnell say, and all of the Oriole rooters say, if you are going to beat Mr. McNally in a game such as this, you've got to go get him. He's not going to beat himself. So Bob Robertson went after him and produced a 410-foot home run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors for the Pirates. The Orioles have no runs on Brooks Robinson's single and no errors. 2-0 the count. Base hit up the middle. Sanguillén stops at first base. Now McNally was wild high, brought the ball down in the strike zone, and Sanguillén drilled off the middle. Still nobody out, and here's Jose Pagan. Pagan, 2 for 8, has an RBI. He drove in the winning run. Manny Sanguillén in the Tuesday afternoon ball game. Sanguillén stretched what looked like a single into a double, and Pagan followed up with a base hit to left field that scored Sanguillén to make it 2-0. Pirates won that game 5-1. Check at first base, where they respect the great speed of this catcher, Sanguillén. He's back. McNally throws, swing and a miss by Pagan. 1 strike. Breaking pitch down low. Jose steps out and looks down to Frank Osiak, the coach at third. Don Leppert is coaching at first. Pitch out, but Sanguillén is not going. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pagan looks down to Osiak again. Leppert, the coach at first base, is the man involved most vociferously with John Rice last night, arguing that Clemente's ball was fair, not foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sanguillén not going. Ball is hit to the opposite field. Down the right field line. Back to his pal. Over comes Johnson. And Powell sticks out a glove and cannot get it in foul territory. One ball, 2 strikes. In fairness to both Powell and Johnson and the right fielder, Frank Robinson, the ball was well down the right field line and well off the foul line. And to turn and run that distance and make an over-the-shoulder catch, well, it would have been a fine play. But the Orioles don't come up with the play, and Pagan remains alive, 1-2. McNally throws too low. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Last of the second, 1-0. Pirates on Bob Robertson's leadoff home run. Pagan, right-handed batter with San Francisco in 1962, had a fabulous series for the Giants. There's another check at first base. Hitting well over 350. That was in that famous rained-out series. McNally ready, throws inside on the fists and foul back toward the Oriole dugout. Still 2-2. I recall they had a game rained out in New York and then 3 more out in San Francisco, and it took them about 13 days to play that 1962 World Series. McNally looks over. Sanguillén throws. It is too low. 3 balls, 2 strikes. In answer to perhaps a question in your mind, no, sir. The Oriole bullpen is not busy. Advantage to Pagan as he throws and strikes him out. Sanguillén's on his way to second base. A throw down there. He's in under the throw, and Johnson thought he was out. But Nestor Skylock says that Sanguillén is in with a stolen base as Pagan strikes out. Sanguillén has stolen his second base of this series, and this is the second stolen base of this game. Pirates stole 2 last night, but we're just in the last of the second. Here's Jackie Hernandez, shortstop, right-handed hitter, hitting at 250 for the series. 1 RBI, has scored a couple of runs. Pirates lead it 1-0. Briles on deck. Hernandez does not have great power. They play him shallow, but a little around to the left, and there's a strike at the knee with a breaking pitch from Dave McNally. Well, this is the first time since 1955 that a team has used 5 different starters in 5 games. And that is what the Pirates have done. Dodgers in 1955 against the Yankees used 6 different starters in 6 games. Now he throws a breaking pitch. The curveball drops over the outside of the plate. Good-looking pitch. It's strike 2. Sanguillén down at second base. Now starts to walk off as McNally looks in for his sign as he's ahead of Hernandez, 0-2. Throws, and Hernandez swings at a high pitch. Strikes out. McNally settles down after Robertson tagged him for the home run and Sanguillén for the single, striking out Pagan and Hernandez. And here's Nelson Briles. And Briles is a pretty good hitting pitcher, 144 lifetime. McNally cannot afford to relax with him with Sanguillén down at second base. They do not play Briles deep. Throws a breaking pitch, and Nelly swings and misses, strike one. The sun is shining brightly at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the temperature is nearly 70 degrees. Another breaking pitch, and strike two swinging. Last night, more people watched a Pittsburgh baseball game than ever before in history here in Pittsburgh. 51,378. There are not that many here this afternoon. There are some empty seats. Not many, but some. Two strikes to Briles. Back, there's a drive. Foul off to the right. Makes the seats on the first base line. Bob Robertson's home run that led off this inning was a tremendous shot to straightaway center field, 410 feet away. His home run in the first game played here in Pittsburgh was to the opposite field, the right. Two-strike pitch again, a breaking pitch that misses this time. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Briles. McNally struck out 9 in Saturday's World Series opener. That was his high for the year. Not normally a strikeout pitcher. High out of the strike zone, and Ellie Hendricks points at Briles, looking down to see whether or not any umpire says he did not check his swing. Nobody backs up Hendricks, and so it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the last of the second, Pirates 1 run on 2 hits, one of them Robertson's home run, no errors. Orioles no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. The only Oriole hit, a single in the top of this inning by Brooks Robinson. McNally ready and throws, and there's a drive out to the center field. 1 hop. He's going to play it. He's going to throw home. And the ball is off mark to Sanguillén scores. Briles drives in the run. McNally had pitcher Nelly Briles 0-2. Then it went to 2-2 and let him get away from him. And Sanguillén scored. Dave Cash. Danny Murtaugh, as on Saturday the Orioles will start Jim Palmer, says he will either start Steve Blass or Bob Johnson. Those 7 games, the 7th game pitcher will be Steve Blass or Bob Johnson. Not committing himself. 2 out, Cash steps in there, takes a breaking pitch right over. Strike 1. Robertson lit off with a home run. Sanguillén singled, stole second as Pagan struck out. Hernandez struck out. Briles was down 0-2, worked the count to 2-2, and drilled a single to center field, scoring Sanguillén. And there's that Pirate speed again as Sanguillén stole second, was in scoring position. Back again, fastball. Robinson backing onto the third base, goes to second, where Johnson steps on second base for the force out. But the Pirates pick up 2 runs on 3 base hits. There were no errors and 1 man left. At the end of 2, the Pirates 2 and Baltimore nothing.
WWJ Detroit, the Detroit News.
From sunny Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Jim Simpson along with Bill O'Donnell as we go to the top of the 3rd. The Pirates lead the Orioles 2-0 in this 5th game of the World Series, which is all tied at 2 games apiece. Mark Belanger hitting at .214 for the series. Right-handed batter, well back in the box. Close stance facing Nelly Briles, who's given up 1 base hit. Breaking pitch. On a change, hits the outside corner, strike 1. McNally has given up 3 hits now, and that's as many as the Pirates got in the entire first game against Dave. Another breaking pitch, and Belanger fouls it back at home plate, drops in the seats for strike 2. And if you want to go back looking at history, just only as far back as last Saturday, in the second inning, in which the Pirates got 2 runs here, they got 3 runs against McNally in the second inning down in Baltimore on Saturday and never scored again. Baltimore won it. 0-2, breaking pitch low and away, ball 1. Briles throws, ball is out to right field. Clemente is there in plenty of time, taps the glove twice and takes it for the first out of the Baltimore third. Lazy fly ball down the right field line, Clemente over in plenty of time, and here comes Dave McNally. 0 for 3 in the series opener. Pretty good hitting pitcher. 162, hit a couple of home runs this year. And had 14 sacrifice bunts this year. Can handle a bat. Briles ready and throws a breaking pitch, strike 1. Briles has allowed 1 man of the 7 he has faced, make that of the 8 he has faced, to reach base. Brooks Robinson's 2-out single in the second. Another breaking pitch. McNally swings and misses. 0-2. They play the Baltimore pitcher straight away. Fastball low and away, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to McNally. McNally, you'll recall, had Briles 0-2, battled him back to a 2-2 count, and then drilled a single to center to drive in the second run of the game. Pirates lead it by 2. Briles ready now at shortstop to lead off the game. Buford has plate umpire Jim Odom checked the ball, and Odom throws a new ball out to Briles and throws the one that Buford wanted checked out of the game. Pirates have 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors. Orioles, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. Top of the third. Pagan again comes in on the turf. Front of third base. Briles ready, throws a change that stays outside and high. Ball 1 to Buford. Don has good power, hit a home run, recall, in the World Series. Takes a big cut at this fastball and misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Briles ready. Throws a change that misses outside. Buford was making signs as though he were going to bunt, but never did offer it the ball. 2-1. Blair waits on deck. Briles throws, backs him out of there. It's 3-1. Now the Pittsburgh fans, they're leading 2-0 over the Orioles. I'm a little concerned as Briles goes to a 3-1 count. First time he has drawn this high and has him swinging on the next pitch. It's 3-2. Briles, a control pitcher, averaging less than 2 walks a ball game. Had great control in the month of September when he threw both of his shutouts and 3 of his complete games. The last 16 games, 65 in the third innings, Briles' earned run record was 1.66. 3-2 pitch. It's hit off the fist down to Pagan. Pagan throws on the first base and a 3-out. No runs, hits, or errors. And again, the Orioles go down in order. They go to the last of the third, and the Pirates lead Baltimore 2-0.
Bill O'Donnell and Jim Simpson hosting you from Pittsburgh this afternoon. The Pirates, who had clutch relief pitching last night from Bruce Keeson and Dave Justy, have had outstanding starting work today done by Nelson Briles. Now here's Jim Simpson and the bottom of the third.
Clines attempts a bunt. It is foul at the plate. Gene showed us his speed back in the first inning. After Cash walked, Clines hit a ball back to McNally. McNally whirled it through Belanger at second to force Cash, but the throw back to first could not get Clines, and Gene later stole second base. Has great speed. 1 strike. Robinson playing back of the bag at third base. Clines attempted the bunt, now takes a breaking pitch outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pirates lead it 2-0 on the home run by Robertson, a single by Sanguillén, who later stole second and came home on Briles' single. All of that happened in the second inning. Now he throws a fastball outside. 2 balls, 1 strike to Clines. Well, they called Dave McNally, Dave McLucky, many times or sometimes he's been taken out of the game only to have his teammates score runs while he's been in the clubhouse to win for him. Another high fastball. It's 3-1. And after giving the Pirates 3 runs in the first game of this World Series and then holding on as Baltimore came back to win 5-3, they called him Dave McLucky. 3-1. Clines looked down to Osiak at third base, see what the coach says he must do, and is swinging on the pitch, breaking pitch that he misses. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. On deck is Roberto Clemente. Another pitch up high, and the dangerous Clines goes down with a second walk given up by McNally. And if you're going to walk anybody, Cash, whom he walked back in the first inning, and Clines in this inning are not the men to walk, as they both have great speed. Earl Weaver has charged to the mound and is talking things over with McNally. Weaver called the Baltimore Orioles the best team in the history of Major League Baseball. And they certainly looked like it when they took a commanding 2-0 lead, or what appeared to be a commanding 2-0 lead, down in Baltimore. But up here, the Pirates have had them on the ropes. A great pitching performance by Steve Blass on Tuesday, Bruce Keeson last night, and Briles has them thus far this afternoon 2-0. Here's Roberto Clemente. Has hit in every World Series game he's ever appeared in, has not hit yet, but back in the first inning drove Frank Robinson deep to the wall with his line drive and right. Clines always a danger to go, and it looks as though the Baltimore bullpen is going to get busy. McNally taking his time, looking in at the right-handed Clemente. Now checks over at first base. Dave Leonard, who recently walked down to the bullpen, has now begun to throw in the bullpen. Pirates are not considered a team that gets a lot of walks. Orioles are considered a team that does not walk many people. Another check over at first base. And yet in this World Series thus far, the Pirates have walked 22 times against the American League's fine control staff of the Baltimore Orioles. Willie Stargell has walked 6 of those 22 times. Breaking pitch, strike 1 to Clemente. Taking all the way. Pirates 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors. Orioles no runs, 1 hit and no errors. And as last night, so again this afternoon, the Pirates have been knocking at the door in every single inning. McNally back and throwing again. Breaking pitch stays inside and high. 1 ball, 1 strike to Clemente. Jim Palmer on Saturday in the 6th game against either Bob Johnson or Steve Blass. The question is, who goes to Baltimore for that 6th game with a 3-2 lead? Right now, the Pirates are broken on top. Another check, this time a lazy throw over to Boog Powell at first base. A stolen base has already cost them a run in the 2nd inning. Van Gien stole second and came home ahead of the Nelson Briles single. McNally back, throws, it's fouled back, straight back toward us, and hits just below us. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Leonard continues to throw. There goes the runner. There's a bounding ball to Belanger, second base. He's got to go to first, throws on to first, and gets the charging Clemente. Clines had a great jump on the ball. And Clemente, who set up a home run by Bob Robertson by charging, when he hit the ball right back to the mound and forced Cuellar into a throwing error on Tuesday afternoon, ran out that ball, a simple bouncer to the shortstop Belanger by second base. Here's Stargell, who bounced to Belanger to end the first. Pirate fans keep expecting this big fellow to put one out of here. He has not in the championship series of the World Series. Fouls this one to the screen, strike 1. Really a good hitter throughout the season also. Aside from those 125 RBIs, those 48 home runs, he hit .295. Pirates 2, Orioles nothing. Clines at second, 1 out, last of the 3rd. McNally throws, breaking pitch, it stays inside. Then he turned his shoulder away from it. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Bob Robertson with that 410-foot home run to lead off the second is on deck. McNally right back, breaking pitch, hit out to left field, not too deep. Buford backs up and has it, and now Clines bluffs going to third base. Throw comes into the cutoff man, Belanger, and Clines trots back. And here's Bob Robertson. Robertson with that famous uppercut swing that we've been talking about throughout the World Series and the championships. Uppercut one to dead center field for a leadoff home run in the second. He had 4 home runs, 3 in succession in the National League Championships against the Giants. That's over a space of 2 games. 3 home runs on a double in the Sunday game out in San Francisco, and then on Tuesday, led off with a home run. Just as he did here today. Clines has a tremendous lead at second base. Now Johnson tries to bluff him back a step or two. McNally ready to throw and throws up high to Bob Robertson. Ball 1. Leonard still throwing, despite the fact that 2 out and Clines down at second. McNally looks back, pickoff play, but back quickly is Clines, and McNally never released the ball. Clines has had that big lead, but that time the lead wasn't as big. About 6 steps away. Now he moves up toward third, another half step. McNally ready to throw. There's a ground ball to Brooks Robinson. Can't pick it up. Now picks it up. Now throws on to first. Offline. Everybody's ready. Error to the mighty Brooks Robinson. Second of the series. Well, as Bill pointed out, if there is a surprise to the series, it has been not the collapse, but the fallibility of the Oriole defense. It has not held up. Here's Sanguillén, who singled and stole second and scored ahead of the Briles single back in the second inning. Pirates 2, Baltimore nothing. And the Pirates have been something else again since coming back to Three Rivers Stadium. McNally throws a breaking pitch that drops over, strike 1. Only in the second inning last night were the Pirates not on base. They've gone 3 innings here and have had a threat going every single inning and lead 2-0. McNally throws fastball driven down the left field line and a disturbing foul way up in the seats in the second deck. The Orioles, I'm sure you know, have 4 20-game winners. McNally got the job done Saturday. Sunday's game was rained out. Palmer got the job done Monday. But Cuellar and Dobson have failed, and McNally is on the ropes. Baltimore has now committed 9 series errors. Pittsburgh only 1. 2 strikes to count. Outside. Sanguillén, 1 ball, 2 strikes. During the season, Baltimore committed 112 errors. Pittsburgh 133. Baltimore has the dubious distinction of leading 9 errors to 1 in the 1971 World Series. McNally looking over at Robertson at first base. He should have been out of this. The ball gets by Hendricks, and here comes the run scoring. Ball is in the first 2 lines. 3-0. McNally was guilty of a wild pitch back in the first game that got him in a lot of trouble, and this is another wild pitch that scores a run. Bob Robertson goes down to second, and with the score 3-0, now Sanguillén, with a base hit, has a chance to drive in a 4th run. Pirate fans probably now becoming aware they've got a chance to take the whole series. They were the underdogs and had been throughout the series. The ball's 2 strikes, and there's a third called strike. The Sanguillén caught looking, and now he walks after umpire Jim Odom. But without benefit of a hit, a walk, and an error in a wild pitch. The Pirates score 1 run, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. We've gone 3 full innings, and the Pirates lead the Orioles 3-0.
Friends, you know,
Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, where the fans are exceedingly happy with that 3-0 lead. Paul Blair leads it off in the 4th inning against Nelly Briles, who's allowed 1 man to reach base. Brooks Robinson in the 2nd with a 2-out single. Other than that, Briles has been perfect, and no one has hit the ball hard off him except Brooks Robinson. Blair looked at a 3rd call strike back in the 1st inning. Briles ready to work. Throws him a breaking pitch, hit out to right field. Roberto Clemente trots over to his left, taps his glove, and takes it. On 1 pitch, Briles gets Paul Blair, and here is Boog Powell. What a series poor Boog is having. With that injured right hand, he is 1 for 16. Had a tremendous drive to deep center last night. That scored a run, but it was caught, a sacrifice fly. We'll recall again that after 3 innings down in Baltimore last Saturday, for you Baltimore fans, the Pirates were leading McNally 3-0. There's a drive that Cash drives to Bateman Graham. Pitches by Nelson Briles in the Baltimore 4th, and 2 birds are out. Here's Frank Robinson. Foul out to Bob Robertson down the first base line to lead off the 2nd. It was Robertson who got a home run to make it 3-1 and turn the ball game around down in Baltimore on Saturday. This time he looks at a low pitch, ball 1. And Jim Odom takes a look at the baseball and puts a new one in play. They play about as deep for Frank Robinson as anybody. Both Clines in center, Stargell in left, almost back to the warning track. One ball, no strikes. 3-0 the Pirates in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss. Big swing. Strike 1. Briles has not had any trouble at all and has not looked at all as though he's been laboring. There's a ball hit to the opposite field foul down the right field line in the seats. Whereas McNally has looked just the opposite. Dave has looked as though he has had trouble just staying in the game, getting the ball over, putting something on it. Briles, remember, has been exceedingly tough this last month. 16 games, his last 16 games, a 1.66 earned run average, over 65 in the 3rd innings, and hasn't allowed a run in this game. There's a little pop-up foul behind home plate, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Frank, one of those rare birds, if you'll pardon the pun, more than 500 career home runs. He and Harmon Killebrew joined that circle this year. Breaking pitch misses, ball escapes Sanguillén, picks it up, tosses it back to Briles. It's 2-2. Everybody thought before this World Series began it would be a super series. It has already been just that. 2-2. Look out inside with a breaking pitch. 3-2. Robinson hit last night with a fastball that rode in on him and caught him in the knee. Frank has been hit, as I recall, Bill, from last night 179 times in his major league career. The other 2 people that Bruce Keeson hit were sliders that just did nothing and hit him in the back. 3-2. Strikes him out for the fastball. Briles has been something else again. The runs, hits, and errors, none left. We go to the last of the 4th. The Pirates on top, 3-0.
UJ Detroit, your Detroit news station.
Jim Simpson with Bill O'Donnell, Three Rivers Stadium, Pittsburgh. McNally to throw to Pagan, who struck out back in the 2nd inning. Takes a breaking pitch outside for McNally, ball 1. 3 runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Pirates. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for the Orioles. We are in the last of the 4th, and McNally ready to throw, and there's a drive to left field. Over comes Buford, lets it hop.
backhands the ball as Pagan will have to stop at first base with a long single to left field. The fourth base hit, and that's one more than the Pirates got all Saturday afternoon against Dave McNally. And they also broke to a 3-0 lead, only to lose 5-3. And now the Baltimore bullpen is going to get busy again. Earl Weaver watching McNally go against the 7, 8, and 9 batters, and he's already given the number 7 batter, Pagan, a leadoff single to left. Here is Hernandez, who struck out swinging in the second. Pagan at first does not have great speed. There's an attempted bunt by Hernandez, but the ball is out of the strike zone, ball 1. Dave Leonard, the man again up and throwing. McNally throws, and there's a ball fouled off to the right and upstairs. 1 ball, no strike. Well, there have only been 4 teams in the history of the best of 7 World Series play that have been down 2-0 and have come back to take it all. Pirates were down 2-0. Now they've evened it, and for the moment lead the 5th game 3-0. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hernandez. None out, and there's a strike as again Hernandez offered as if to bunt, pulled his bat back, but it's a called strike 2. Robertson breaking in from third, Boog Powell from first. Nelly Briles, the pitcher on deck, has not only done a great job throwing, but he has also driven in 1 of the 3 runs. McNally throws, ball is outside, and it's 2-2 to Jackie Hernandez. Former American leaguer has been playing a lot this year with the assorted injuries to Gene Alley. Alley has been in a couple of ball games, started one, and came on late last night to finish out the game. There's a step and a throw to first base, and Pagan is back in plenty of time. Sun has gone behind the clouds for the moment as McNally throws a big, slow breaking pitch that misses. And he's going to 3-2 on the number 8 hitter, Jackie Hernandez. Hernandez, a .206 hitter during the regular season. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Pirates. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for the Orioles. Another check to first base. And that 1 error by Brooks Robinson allowed Clines to go to third base and allowed him to score on the McNally wild pitch, as Baltimore is playing very un-Baltimore-like baseball. Another check to first base, still 3-2. McNally has not thrown to the plate since getting the 3-2 count. Pagan leads off, and he's going on a 3-2 pitch. Down ball right up the middle. Brooks is waiting for him and tags him out. A 1 bouncer from Blair in center field to Robinson beat Pagan, who is not the swiftest Pirate by any stretch of the imagination, by 3 or 4 steps, and Robinson was just waiting to make the tag. Pirates playing hustling baseball, but Blair hustled a throw into Brooks Robinson to throw him out. Hernandez on at first base with a base hit. And here is Nelson Briles. Briles has struck out 2, walked nobody, allowed a 2-out single to Brooks Robinson in the second. Other than that, nobody has touched him up. Nobody has reached base. Briles had a count of 0-2 on him back in the second inning. Battle McNally to a 2-2 count, and then rifle a single to center field. Squares around to bunt, bunts right in front of the plate. Picked up by Elrod Hendricks, who has to go to first base. For the out, Johnson covering, as sliding into second goes Hernandez. And that will give Cash to drive in a run, a chance to drive in a run.
with Hernandez down at second base. Cash walked in the first inning and bounced into a forced play to end the second. Pirates lead it by 3. We're in the last of the fourth. Hernandez, or rather Hendricks, walks out in front of home plate. Does a little gardening. Now moves back. Hard fans want another run as they begin to clap as Cash waits the delivery. McNally a big curve outside. It's ball 1. Play Cash straight away and not too deep. Now he comes back with another curve. This one drops over for a strike. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Infield back with 2 out and Hernandez at second. Pretty good leadoff second. Another breaking pitch. Grounded forward. Belanger at shortstop. Up with it. A throw to first base. He's got him by half a step, and Cash does a leap in the air, thinking he'd beat it out. No runs on 2 base hits. There were no errors and 1 left, and now we've gone 4 innings. And the Pittsburgh Pirates in this important 5th game lead the Baltimore Orioles 3-0.
Bill O'Donnell and Jim Simpson with you in Game 5 of the 1971 World Series, and at the end of 4 innings of play, it's Pittsburgh 3 runs, 5 hits against McNally, and it's Baltimore no runs, 1 hit against right-hander Nelson Briles. So Baltimore down by 3 runs, comes to the top of the 5th inning with some power. It'll bring up Elrod Hendricks, then Brooks Robinson, plus Dave Johnson.
Hendricks flied to short center field back in the 2nd inning. Baltimore got 3 runs in the 1st inning last night, and for the last 12 innings has not scored a run. Blanked the last 8 last night, the first 4 this afternoon. And they have but 1 base hit, 1 base runner in 4 innings of swinging away against Briles, who now throws to Hendricks, who takes inside, ball 1. Briles, as we've said, has been to the World Series wars before. He was with the Cardinals in 67 and 68. Inside high with the fastball, it's 2-0. In 67, you'll recall, the Cardinals went the distance to edge the Red Sox in the great series, and then there was that unbelievable comeback in 1968 by the Tigers, led by Mickey Lolich, to take the Cardinals. As that series went the distance. 69, the Mets won it in 5. And last year, the Orioles won it in 5 over Cincinnati. Strike right down the middle of the fastball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ellie Hendricks with Brooks Robinson on deck. We are on the top of the 5th of a 3-0 ball game. Briles, the right-hander, throws, and there's a ball fouled out of play off to the left. 2-2. For Hendricks, they respect the fact that he pulls. Hernandez is at back of second base and shaded a little bit toward first base. Only Pagan on the left side of the infield. Hendricks steps out. Briles ready, throws 2-2, misses low and inside, 3-2. I hope you saw or heard last night's first World Series night game. Pirate fan, Oriole fan, makes no difference. That 4-3 ball game had everything in it. It was quite a ball game. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Hendricks, who takes inside, and there's the first walk given up by Briles, and only the second man he is allowed to reach first base. Here's Brooks Robinson, who singled to center. Last time up, the only base hit off Briles. That was a 2 out in the second. Hernandez walks in to say a few words to Briles, who is in back of the mound. Bob Robertson walks over from first base to yell a few words to Briles. And Nelly now taking his time at the mound. Ready to throw, working from the stretch, and it's low and away. Ball one. Robinson looks down to Billy Hunter, who's coaching at third base. George Stoller over at first. Briles comes back with a fastball at the knees. It's strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Orioles had won 16 in a row until Steve Blass beat them 5-1 on Tuesday. Since that time, the Orioles, of course, have lost 2 in a row. To Blass and Keeson. 1-1 pitch, breaking pitch, grounded toward shortstop. Hernandez over, throws quickly to second base. Throw back to first base. Fastest runners in the world. Hernandez had to go into the hole to dig the ball out. He got Hendricks with a step to spare at second. Cash's relay to Robertson. A step or 2 ahead of Brooks Robinson. And now the bases are clear, and here is Dave Johnson, who flied a very short center field to end the second inning. Pirates lead at 3-0. In the top of the 5th. Schulte, respecting the newfound power of Johnson, that had 18 home runs this year, backs up in left, and there's a ball hit off the fist into short left. Schulte is on his way in. Hernandez on his way out. Schulte said, "I've got it." Briles gets him again. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left. They'll go to the last of the 5th. The Pirates 3, the Orioles nothing. Along with Bill O'Donnell, this is Jim Simpson back at Three Rivers Stadium. Well, the Pirates are coming to bat now. Have had at least 1 man on base in their last 10 innings in a row since going out 1, 2, 3 in the second inning last night. The only time last night they did go down in order. Meanwhile, the Orioles are looking for some kind of base hits. They haven't had a run now in their last 13 innings of play. Pirates last night defeated 20-game winner Pat Dobson. The day before, 20-game winner Mike Cuellar, and now they've got 20-game winner Dave McNally on the ropes. They're out in front by the score of 3-0. And what is worse, Briles is pitching a 1-hitter. That is what is worse if you are an Oriole fan. But this is Pirate territory as we go to the last of the 5th, and Gene Clines, Roberto Clemente, and Willie Stargell. And for the last of the 5th, here's Bill O'Donnell.
Thank you, Jim, and hello again, everybody. Bottom of the 5th inning, and the Pirates with the number 2 man in their order, and the speed merchant, Gene Clines, the center fielder, to be followed by Roberto Clemente and Willie Stargell. Clines, a right-hand cutter, is thrown a low breaking pitch for ball 1. Clines grounded into a forced play in the first inning, later stole the base. He walked and scored a run in the third. McNally's 1-0 is a knee-high strike to the looking Clines. Clines in this World Series is 0 for 5. During the National League campaign, Clines batted .308. He is not known for power. Played in shallow center, extremely shallow center by Blair. McNally's change is outside. Ball 2 and strike 1 to Clines. McNally has not had really a cruise inning. He has struggled since the ball game started. His 2-1, a fastball strike inside corner. It just bit on the corner to the belt of Clines. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Although McNally did not give up any runs in the first inning, he did walk the leadoff man, Cash, gave up 2 runs in the second, a run in the third, pulled out of a 4th inning jam. 2-2. Long drive, left center field. Blair's going way back, way back, way back. It one hops off the wall in center field. Clines turns second. He's on his way to third, and Belanger will make no throw. A head-first diving slide by Clines after Blair picked up the one-hopper off the center field wall. Through to the relay man, Belanger on the outfield carpet. Belanger realized he had no throw against Clines. Clines bangs a triple to begin the Pirates' bottom of the 5th inning. And with a hammering 3-bagger by Clines, let's see if Baltimore's bullpen gets active again. Clines, who can really pick him up and lay him down. He motors strong as at third base, and Roberto Clemente is up. Speaking of being up again in Baltimore's bullpen, the right-hander Dave Leonard. Clemente sent a long drive to the right field wall, caught by Frank Robinson in the first inning. Grounded out short to first in the third inning. All four Baltimore infielders now tighten up. They're right back of the infield carpet. Clemente hits a ground ball. Hangs one out. Base hit center field. Clines scores the run. The Pirates go ahead 4-0. Clemente just picked on McNally's first serve and drove it on the ground right by the mound over second base for an RBI base hit. Clemente continues his World Series streak. He is now hit in 12 straight World Series games. In this World Series, he has 9 hits in 20 appearances. Earl Weaver is making a march to the mound, a march that looks like he might go to his bullpen. Weaver, with his hands on his hips, as yet has not motioned to the Baltimore bullpen, but now has. And Dave Leonard will be brought on to pitch against the Pirates here in the bottom of the 5th inning. They were leading 3-0. They now go ahead 4-0 on a triple, one hopping off the wall and center by Clines, followed by a base hit up the middle off Clemente's bat. McNally leads, pitching 4 innings plus 2 batters, giving up 7 base hits, 4 runs, striking out 3, and walking 2. And Dave Leonard will come on to face Willie Stargell.
Dave Leonard, 29 years old, born in Arlington, Virginia, now living in Baltimore. Spent most of this past season in the International League with Rochester and managed to get in only 54 innings with the Orioles. He won 2, lost 3, and was credited with 1 save and had a 2.89 earned run average. Right-hander coming on, he has not appeared in the World Series until now. Well, the Buccos, who said down in Baltimore, wait till we get them back at Three Rivers Stadium, have proven it so far, winning 5-1, 4-3 in the Thriller last night. Now they're out in front by the score of 4-0. I'm sure if you follow baseball, you know as long as you've got that big 4-run lead, maybe the tying run will come to the plate with the bases loaded. But the winning run can never come to the plate. A 4-run cushion is a great thing for a pitcher like Nelson Briles to be working with. Briles extremely effective for the last month of play, last 16 games, and thus far today he has walked 1 and given up 1 walk, which was, as we said in the 5th inning, he was erased on a double play, and he gave up 1 base hit. That's to Brooks Robinson. Other than that, he has been something else again. Well, Leonard will warm up with Clemente at first and 1 run in here in the last of the 5th. Stargell is waiting on deck as we pause 30 seconds for station identification. Three Rivers Stadium. Stargell steps in to face Dave Leonard, and here's Bill.
And Leonard now will go into a pause to the belt with Clemente, the base runner, held by Powell. Nobody gone in the Pirates' 5th inning. They lead 4-0. And Leonard, who has the best right-handed move on the Orioles staff, makes a move towards Clemente's lead. Stargell is hitless in this ball game. He is 0 for 2. Left-hand batting Stargell taking high and away, ball 1. Leonard making not only his first appearance in this World Series, but making his first appearance ever in World Series competition. He's looking to Clemente, throws that way again, and Clemente steps back safely. To start the 1971 season, Leonard was optioned to Rochester, where he won 7 and lost 4. He works a fastball outside to Big Stargell. He's behind Willie 2-0. At Rochester, before being recalled by Baltimore in early July, Leonard won 7 and lost 4. His 2-0 delivery is popped up towards third baseman Brooks Robinson. Brooks, shading his eyes from the sun, backs up on the skin of the infield. He makes the grab to retire Willie Stargell. Leonard, who has come on to replace McNally from the bullpen, the Orioles are also keeping that pen active with hard-throwing big right-hander Tom Dukes. 1 gone, bottom of the 5th inning. A Clines 3-bagger, a Clemente ground single up the middle has Pittsburgh ahead of Baltimore 4-0. Here is Bob Robertson with a mighty center field home run wallop in the second inning. Safe on an error by third baseman Brooks Robinson in the third inning. A quick toss to first base and sliding back safely is the surprise Clemente. Clemente just dove back feet first, and he didn't expect Leonard to get there that quickly. Leonard again moves to first base and stepping back a little bit more slowly, Clemente. That last time, Clemente didn't inch as much off the bag as he had the last time. Robertson taking low and away, ball one. Home run wise, Robertson during the series during the season had 26. However, was shut out in the month of September. The ball one delivery. Check swing on a low outside breaking ball. 2 balls and no strikes. And then after having the home run door shut in his face during the entire month of September, Robertson has now come back in postseason play with 6 home runs. 4 in the playoffs against the Giants and 2 in this series against Baltimore. He hits a high pop-up down the third base foul line. Brooks Robinson towards the seats, and it's going to drop out of play in the seats. This ball game was scoreless through the first inning. The Pirates got a pair in the second, 1 more in the third, 1 more here in the fifth to lead 4-0. Pirates won Game 4 of the series last night 4-3. They won Game 3 5-1 after the Orioles had won the first pair at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. Leonard's glance to Clemente, delivers high, and Hendricks, the catcher, has to reach sky high and bring it down. 3 balls, 1 strike, that's the count to hard-cutting Bob Robertson. Well, 2 gentlemen from the state of Maryland facing each other. The lad from Mount Savage, Robertson, against the lad from Baltimore. And by the way, a graduate of Johns Hopkins University is Dave Leonard. He's 3 balls, 1 strike to the dangerous Robertson. Swing and a miss at a breaking stuff. 3 balls and 2 strikes, the count. Now, the Pirates have been doing a lot of run and hitting in this series, and let's see if they motor Clemente with a lead of 4-0 and 1 out. On a 3-ball, 2-strike count to Robertson. Sanguillén is the on-deck man. Clemente, not too long a lead against the paws of Leonard. And Leonard drives him back with a toss to Powell. Second baseman Johnson is shading strongly to his throwing side, a couple of steps back of the bag. 3-2 to Robertson. Clemente stays. The pitch is high. And Robertson has thrown a walk on a 3-2 pitch. It pushes Clemente with 1 out to second base. Walk number 1 issued by reliever Leonard. Dave McNally, the starter, passed a pair. Manny Sanguillén is up, singled in the second, stole a base, scored a run. McNally made him look at strike 3 in the third. It's Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing in the bottom of the 5th inning. Duke still heating in the Baltimore bullpen. Leonard trying to pull the Orioles out of this 5th inning jam. Here's a foul to the right side off the bat of Manny Sanguillén. In every inning so far, the Pirates have left a man on base. As a matter of fact, coming into this 5th game, they had left 41 men aboard. 1 striker by Leonard. It's high and tight to the right-hand batting Sanguillén. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 2 runners aboard, and a Pirate run home here in the 5th inning. Sanguillén in the series is 6 for 19. The check of the runners, Leonard to the plate 1-1. High and tight again, and Sanguillén has to move the head back. 2 balls and 1 strike. One of the extra pluses about Sanguillén, not only does he hit for a high average, and not only is he great defensively, but he can really run. 2-1. He pops it up towards the first base side. Powell drifting along the foul line in foul territory, 3 or 4 steps back of the bag. Powell has it in that mitt. Sanguillén fouls out. 2 gone now, and now to Jose Pagan. McNally struck out Jose in the 2nd inning. And then Pagan got a base hit to left in the 4th inning tried to race to third on a base hit to center by Hernandez and was sawed off by Blair's throw to Brooks Robinson at third. Blair's throw to Brooks Robinson at third. Powell not holding on Bob Robertson, who has an extra good lead. Clemente in front of him is off second base. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball to the knees of Pagan. Pagan is 3 for 10 in this World Series. He had the great 1962 World Series in the San Francisco uniform when he batted .368. As a matter of fact, among players who appeared in all 7 games, Pagan had the highest batting average. Leonard's look to the runners is 0-1. He snaps it high, 1 ball, 1 strike count to Pagan. Hernandez is the man on deck. Naturally, since this series game is being played in Bucktown, there are signs all over this ballpark rooting on their favorite Pirates. Clemente off second, plus Robertson off first. And Leonard just breaks contact with the rubber, bluffs Clemente a couple of steps back towards second, and Leonard reaches down and just fingers up on that rosin bag briefly. Leonard has replaced Dave McNally here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Right-hander to right-hander, 1-1. High. Pagan started to go, and then he changed his mind. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's the Pirates 4 runs, 7 hits. It's the Orioles no runs and just 1 base hit off Nelson Briles. Leonard peering to Hendricks wigwagging. His 2-1 delivery is hit high into center field. Blair's got the radar up, and Blair is right there for the 3rd out. The Pirates get another run, a run with 2 hits, and they leave a pair. At the end of 5 innings of play, Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing.
Well, our reminder that on Saturday afternoon at 12:45 Eastern Time, we will be back at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore for the 6th game of the World Series. And at the moment, it looks as though the Pirates will go into that game with a 3-2 lead, but we are just now in the 6th inning. And, of course, the Orioles have a lot of firepower that carried them to the American League pennant, their 3rd in as many years. And, of course, they also won back in 1966, missing out in 67 to the Red Sox and 68 to Detroit. But the problem becomes for Baltimore, they have now gone 13 complete innings since scoring a run. They scored 3 in the first inning last night, went the final 8 without a run, and the first 5 here this afternoon without a run. And what is more, Nelson Briles, who's only pitched 3 innings since September the 30th, and that's all he pitched, and has been bothered by a pulled hamstring muscle, has allowed 1 base hit, 1 walk. That man was erased on a double play, and has struck out 2. Things at the moment in this 5th game look tough for the Birds. But it's 4-0. Top of the 6th, Belanger to lead off, and here's Bill O'Donnell.
Inside the bag at third, up to the carpet is Pagan. 1 strike deal coming in. Breaking ball grounded towards third. Inside the bag, Pagan digs it out, throws out the speedy Belanger, and that's the 1st out in the top of the 6th inning. Dave Leonard, the relief pitcher, is due. We are screened from the Baltimore dugout area on the 3rd base side of the field, and let's see who's going to come up. It's going to be a fellow they call in Baltimore the Little Mosquito, Tom Schulte. Schulte has been to bat twice in this series as a pinch hitter and has failed to pick up a base hit. Schulte, during 1971 against American League pitching, batted .257. He does not have power. He does have great speed. Schulte still feeling a couple of bats in the on-deck area, and he will come on to bat for Leonard, which means that Tom Dukes, the big, strong right-hander, will come out of Baltimore's bullpen to pitch against the Pirates in the bottom half of this 6th inning. It's Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing, and this is Game 5. Game 6 will come up Saturday in Baltimore, and if there's a 7th game, it stays right in Baltimore on Sunday afternoon. Third baseman Pagan playing just about the same against the left-hand swings of Schulte as he did against the right-hand swings ahead of him of Belanger. A strike right down the groove. Schulte is a little fellow, and he moves as far as he can to the front of the box. He's got that deep waist bend right on top of the plate. The 1-strike pitch is outside and high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Tommy Schulte. close and inside the bag at third, Pagan. He stays right there. Well over to left is Stargell against the left-hand batter, who strokes it foul to the netting. A ball and 2 strikes to Schulte, batting for reliever Dave Leonard. Baltimore has only enjoyed 2 base runners in this game. Brooks Robinson, a base hit in the second, a Hendricks walk in the 5th. The next pitch, Schulte strokes a foul straight back. So the count rides between Nelly Briles and Tommy Schulte at a ball and 2 strikes. Towards the hole against the left-hand batter at short is Hernandez. The 1-2 whipped in and fouled straight back again. That count keeps now at a ball and 2 strikes. Playing well towards the left field foul line, although Schulte cuts from the left side, is Stargell. Well into left center is Clines. A bit to right center is Clemente. It is rare that Schulte pulls. He moves the ball around. 1-2 again. Low and away as Briles try to chew off that outside corner to the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 away in Baltimore's half of the 6th inning. Nelson Briles, the man from St. Louis, winding and dealing 2-2. Here's a high drive, deep right field. Clemente going back in front of the warning area, leaps up and makes the grand. That was not a circus leap by Clemente, but he did have to come off his feet just before he hit the warning track in right. So Schulte, batting for Leonard, gives the ball a good ride, but Clemente galloped back to bring it home. Here's Baltimore's leadoff batter, Don Buford, popped to the shortstop in the 1st inning and bounced out 3rd to 1st in the 3rd. Buford is 2 for 15 in this World Series. In 4 Baltimore seasons, Buford has had a fabulous on-base percentage of better than 400%. Strike with a Briles fastball at the knees. And there's Pagan against Buford just as he stayed against Belanger and Schulte, well inside the bag at 3rd. The 0-1 changeup is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Briles, who was very, very impressive in late season starts, equally impressive today in this 5th World Series game. Here's a high drive to right field. Clemente comes in and now backs off. Clemente is there, and Briles has a 1-2-3 6th inning. At the end of 5.5 innings, it's Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing.
Jim Simpson along with Bill O'Donnell, and we're back at Three Rivers Stadium. It is the last of the 6th inning. Tom Dukes is coming on. Dukes born in Knoxville, Tennessee, now lives out in Arcadia, California. And he is, of course, in his first year with the Orioles after service with Houston and then San Diego. Appeared in 28 ball games, won 1, lost 5, had 4 saves, on average of 3.52, and has made 1 appearance in the 1971 World Series. Worked 1 inning, walked nobody, gave up no hits, pitched a perfect inning. He'll face Jackie Hernandez in this 4-0 ball game. The Pirates lead it over the Orioles as we go to the last of the 6th. And here is Bill O'Donnell.
Well, Pittsburgh today has looked at off-speed stuff, breaking balls from McNally, average fastball, breaking pitches from Leonard. Now they go against a hard thrower, Dukes. And there's a hard breaking ball for strike 1. It is rare that Dukes throws the changeup. He's got a good live fastball and an extremely good hard curve when he's right. The strike 1 pitch to Jackie Hernandez. Breaking ball fouled off the end of the Hernandez bat behind the plate. 2 strikes to Hernandez. McNally struck him out on a high pitch in the 2nd inning, and then Hernandez picked on McNally for a base hit to center in the 4th. On that base hit, Pagan tried to race to 3rd and was cut down. Blair's throw to Brooks Robinson. Dukes waiting on Hernandez to get set. He spreads the feet right in the middle of the box. Right-hander to right-hander, 0-2. Foul to the right side. Still 2 strikes to Jackie Hernandez. Hernandez in his first Pirate year, he was with the Kansas City Ball Club last year and came over to Pittsburgh during the off-season together with pitcher Bob Johnson in exchange for little shortstop Freddie Potzek and pitcher Bruce Dalcanton. The 0-2er by Dukes to Hernandez, and it hits him on the arm, I believe. It hit him on the arm or the wrist. on the right side, and now it's being checked by the plate umpire, Jim Odom. And here is Hendricks complaining, plus Earl Weaver complaining, both complaining to Odom that the ball first hit the bat and then hit the wrist. Odom's decision at the moment is that Hernandez was hit first by the pitch. Hendricks has moved out of the argument. Weaver remains in the argument with plate umpire Odom. There's no doubt it hit him on the hand or the wrist, but the doubt as far as Weaver and Hendricks are concerned is that it hit the bat first. Schulte begins to move down the foul line to try to break off the Weaver-Odom squabble. In the first inning, a Pirate leadoff man got on, Cash, with a walk. In the second, the leadoff man Robertson homered. In the third, the leadoff man Clines walked. In the fourth, the leadoff man Pagan singled. In the fifth, the leadoff man Clines tripled. So for the sixth straight inning, a Pittsburgh leadoff man has reached. This time on a controversial call as far as Weaver, Hendricks, and the plate umpire Odom are concerned. Now it's Odom along with third base umpire Schulte that are surrounding the complaining Oriole manager Earl Weaver.
Well, some may wonder why Earl Weaver would be putting up such a fuss on getting the leadoff man on. As we have said before, a 4-run lead and the tying run can come to plate. A 5-run lead and you can never send the tying run to plate. And of course here in the sixth inning the Pirates have what could be the fifth run, the leadoff man on base. And thus Weaver rates the big argument, but as always happens, he has lost it. Here comes Nelson Briles.
Briles naturally from this Pittsburgh crowd of 50,000 plus getting a very warm, long greeting. He singled over a Pirate run in the second inning, laid down a sacrifice bunt in the fourth inning. Hernandez at first base leads, and he's held by Powell. The stretching Dukes delivers. Briles turns, tries to bunt, and doesn't get it for strike one. On that attempted bunt by Nelson Briles, not only did Dave Johnson, the second baseman, start to circle towards first base, but the veteran right fielder, Frank Robinson, rushed in all the way from shallow right to go to first base against Hernandez. The set by Dukes, he pauses right outside the belt. Still gazes to first base, delivers. The bunt is foul off the end of the bat behind the plate. Briles, the first time, unsuccessful bunting, missed it, and now has fouled off the next delivery. Dave McNally started this fifth game for Baltimore. Relieved in the bottom of the fifth inning by Dave Leonard. Leonard was yanked for a pinch hitter, Schulte, in the top half of this inning, so it's Tom Dukes now in the bottom of the sixth inning. He's got Hernandez to concern him, leading off first base. Briles on the 0-2, swings away and misses. He took the full cut and give Dukes a strikeout. Briles returning to the Pirates' first base dugout, and here's leadoff man Dave Cash. Cash walked to begin the Pirate first inning. Bounced into a fielder's choice in the second inning, and then had a base hit taken away from him by Belanger in the hole at short. Belanger not only had to range wide to the hole at short, he had to throw deep from the hole to get the speed of Dave Cash. So the man out of Tennessee, Tom Dukes, facing the man out of upstate New York, Utica's Dave Cash, batting with one on and one away. The set and the pitch is low to Dave Cash. 1 ball and no strikes. Cash is what they call in baseball lingo a contact hitter. He rarely strikes out. Hernandez, short lead with 1 out. The 1-0 is down the middle but low. 2 balls and no strikes. Hendricks knew it had the plate. He also thought it had the knees of Cash. Cash now giving his third base boss, Frank Osiak, that green light or red light look. Duke sets, delivers. Breaking ball, hit high to right field, down the right field foul line. It is a foul ball. 2 feet foul down in the right field corner. And when the ball dropped foul, the base runner Hernandez was only 3 strides away from third base. So Cash got that go-ahead sign from third base coach Osiak and sailed it foul down the right field side. 2 balls, 1 strike to Cash. He is 3 for 19 in this, his very first World Series. the young rookie, the first man ever to take away a job from veteran Pirate Bill Mazeroski. And many other fellows had tried to do that in prior years. Cash flicking the bat out towards the set of Dukes. Dukes throws to first base, and back safely is Hernandez. Hernandez was hit on the wrist by Dukes' pitch to start the Pirates' sixth, and then Briles, after trying to sacrifice, eventually struck out. The 2-1, the runner goes. Here's a ground ball to Brooks Robinson at third. No throw to second, throw to first in plenty of time to retire Cash. So as they have done so much in this World Series, the Pirates run and swing again. They ran Hernandez, they had Cash swing away and bounce out third to first. So the Pirates again have a runner at second base. Hernandez with 2 out, and they're going to bat speedy Gene Clines. It was Clines who began the bottom of the 5th inning against McNally with a long wallop to deep center, so long in fact it one-hopped off the wall in center, and by the time the ball returned to the infield, there was Clines with a head-first diving slide into third base for a 3-bagger. Clines has also drawn a walk and also bounced into a force play. He's stolen a base and scored a pair of runs. Clines, a little right-hand batter, with Hernandez off second and 2 down. Breaking ball is outside. Clines began to put the finger on that swing trigger and then laid off it. In 1968, pitching for Houston, Dukes appeared incidentally in 9 consecutive games in relief, tying a major league record. The Baltimore right-hander Dukes looks back to second. Breaking ball fanned at and missed by the swinging Clines. Ball 1, strike 1 count. Pirate people tell us that Clines has the best speed from the batting area down the first base foul line to the bag. Dukes paying attention to Hendricks, now looks back to the runner. His 1-1 is outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. All of Tom Dukes' pitching jobs this year for manager Earl Weaver, strictly as a reliever. Most of the times in middle relief, once in a while in late relief. 2-1 pitch, breaking ball, skied into center field. Blair is right there, does the waiting job, and Blair has it in the glove for out number 3. At the end of 6 innings of play, it's Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing.
Thank you very much. Bill?
Thank you, Jim, and our thanks also to Bing Crosby as we start the top of the 7th inning, and Briles starts off Blair with a looking strike at the knees. Briles struck out Blair, gazing in the first inning. Blair flied to right in the 4th, so this is his 3rd trip against tough right-hander Briles. His 0-1, strike 2, knee-high fastball. Briles has 4 pitches, fastball, curve, sinker off the fastball, and a palm ball. And he's had great control. 0-2 to Blair. Low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pittsburgh's lead is 4-0. Briles has been extremely stingy, giving up just 1 base hit to Brooks Robinson in the 2nd inning. Right now, he's ahead of the right-hand swings of Blair. 1-2. Throws a breaking ball fouled off the end of the bat. Blair with a late swing. A defensive swing as he tried to protect that outside corner. Count rides at 1-2. So far, through the first 6 innings, Briles has never had to push on the panic button. Blair, 1-2. Hits a pop-up into shallow center. On comes Clines. Back is Hernandez. It's Clines there for the put-out. Blair becomes out number 1. When the Orioles came to Pittsburgh, they had produced 24 base hits in the first 2 games, winning 5-3 and 11-3. In 3 games now, of course the 3rd game here in Pittsburgh not complete, the Orioles have managed only 8 base hits. They had 3 hits in game 3, 4 hits last night, just 1 bingle today. Luke Powell against Briles, a strike at the left. Powell has bounced to the mound and lined to leaping second baseman Cash in the 4th. The shortstop Hernandez has back to the tartan turf outfield and to the first base side of second. Winding, Briles 0-1. Sends in a strike. He challenged Powell with a belt-high fastball. That normally is Powell's power zone. Belt-high down the middle. So Briles outguessed Powell. Every Pittsburgh pitcher has changed styles against Powell, thrown fastballs and then change-ups and try to confuse him. The 0-2. Here's a high foul straight back towards the NBC booth, and, well, naturally it's out of play. Pittsburgh, 4 runs and 7 hits against McNally, Leonard, and Dukes. Baltimore, no runs, just 1 hit against Briles. The only fellow between third and second against Powell is Pagan. 0-2. Change-up, lined, right center base hit, right by the shortstop Hernandez, who is playing to the first base side of second. So there's hit number 2, and the first safety since the Brooks Robinson base knock in the second. Powell with his second base hit in this World Series. He's at first base with 1 out, and Frank Robinson steps up. Frank Robinson fouled out to first baseman Robertson in the second inning, and Briles struck him out on a slider in the third. Baltimore needs 4 runs to tie in the late stages now of this ball game. Needs 5 to go ahead. Powell's lead, not held by Robertson. Here's a high pop-up towards the Pittsburgh dugout, and it will go back of the dugout out of play. Strike 1 to Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson, who produced not only 500 home runs during his major league career this season. He had 28 for the season and had kind of a slow start. No home runs in the month of April. Then he came back with 4 in May, had 6 in June. He had a big July with 8 homers, tailed off a bit in August with 3, and then came back with 7 in September. 1 strike to Frank Robinson. He hits a ground chopper wide at third, gloved by Pagan to second for 1. The first of the play. The Pirates go around the horn. Third baseman Pagan, the second baseman Vance, the first baseman Robertson, doubling up Powell and the batter Frank Robinson. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. In the middle of the 7th inning, Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing.
Well, you begin to realize now it is 15 innings since the Orioles have gotten on the scoreboard against the Pittsburgh pitching. The Pirate pitching staff is judged by those who know to be better than the Baltimore pitching staff, and we're speaking of the bullpen now. The Pirate starters are not said to be up to snuff to the 4 20-game winners that the Baltimore Orioles have, and McNally and Palmer certainly did the job down in Baltimore on Saturday and Monday. But since coming back here, Steve Blass, the 15-game winner, did a great job in his 5-1 decision. In relief last night, 21-year-old Bruce Keeson was mystical for the Orioles. He gave up no runs and only 1 hit and 6 in the 3rd innings. And now this afternoon, Nelson Briles has thoroughly throttled the Orioles. As we go to the last of the 7th, the Pirates at the moment are in command 4-0 and send up Clemente, Stargell, and Robertson. And here's Bill O'Donnell.
And Jim, what a 1971 World Series Roberto Clemente has had. 1 for 3 this afternoon, 9 for 20 in 5 games so far. Dukes to Clemente. Fastball strike, and he'd shoot off the inside corner at Clemente's knees. Now, Clemente is nowhere near the plate. Matter of fact, he's way off it and deep to the box. The 0-1 to Roberto. Breaking ball slapped on the ground foul down towards third. I guess the most remarkable thing about the consistent hitting of Clemente is the position in which he stands in the box. He stands well off the plate, back to the deep restraining line, and he reaches outside pitches just as equally well as he does inside pitches or grooving stuff down the middle. Clemente leading off the Pirates, 7th down, 0-2 to Dukes. Fouls it off the thumb, straight back. Clemente drove Frank Robinson to the right field wall for a fly ball in the 1st inning to be retired. Bounced out to short in the 3rd, and then got his base hit in this ball game in the 5th inning, which also knocked out starter McNally and scored Gene Clines. 2-strike pitch again. High, 1 ball, and 2 strikes. Clemente with a 12-game World Series hitting streak. Hit in all 7 1960 World Series encounters. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes to Clemente. It'll be Stargell next with Robertson waiting down in the Pirate dugout. Dukes just waiting on Clemente to get set, and he is. Right-hander to right-hander, Dukes to Clemente, foul to the screen. I guess one of the great comical lines and one of the fine lines we've heard during this World Series relating to Roberto Clemente is that somebody sparked the line that Roberto will hit .320 the year after he dies. 2-2 again. Here's a ground ball past Dukes to the right of second base. Johnson is on top of it and throws out Clemente by a step. Clemente lost control of the bat, which rolled out halfway between the plate and the mound. The ground ball was to the first base side of the mound, but Johnson dug it out, then gave an underhand toss to Powell. Clemente was out by one step. Willie Stargell, hitless today, has grounded to short, has flied to left, and popped up. He had the good evening last night. He went 2 for 5 and knocked over a run. Stargell takes low from right-hander Dukes. 1 ball, no strikes to the Major League home run leader of 1971. Winding, Dukes delivers. Strike. He took the fastball to the outside edge. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dukes concentrating on Hendricks, shakes off his side. Now he says, okay, I like that one better. 1-1er, Stargell takes high. Talk about a fellow who has traveled. Well, Dukes has been all around the minors and a couple of clubs in the majors. He's been to St. Petersburg, Auburn, Augusta, Columbus, Richmond, Atlanta, Toledo, Oklahoma City. Outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. The last 2 years, 69 and 70, he spent with the San Diego Padres. He came over with Pat Dobson off-season. Worked Stargell 3-1. Line drive, base hit, center field. That was right past the reaching glove of Dukes at the first base side of the mound. Stargell with his first hit today, with hit number 4 in this series. Bangs a 1-out base hit to center, and here comes Bob Robertson. It was Robertson who got the Pirates ahead with a leadoff homer, a solo job in the 2nd inning. He has since reached on an error by third baseman Brooks Robinson, also walked in the 5th. So Robertson has yet to be retired today. Stargell is the 1-out Pirate runner, leading at first base and bird dogged by Powell. Dukes checks, now throws. Swing and a miss at the knee-high breaking ball. The Pirates batting in the bottom of the 7th inning. And this, friends, is Game 5 of the World Series. Locked up at 2 victories apiece. At the moment, the Pirates look very much in command, as Briles has only given up 2 base hits. 1 striker. Robertson looks low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Most people talk about the big power bat of Robertson, but they might forget that back in June, he set a record for the most assists by a first baseman in a ball game. Waits 1-1. Takes outside high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Stocky, sandy-haired, barrel-chested built Bob Robertson in the bottom of the 7th inning. He has had 6 postseason home runs, 4 in the playoffs and 2 in this World Series. 2-1 by Dukes. Is tapped in front of the plate. Picked up barehanded by Hendricks. No throw to second. Does gun his toss in time to Powell. And Robertson is out. Robertson took a full whiff with the bat. Just got a piece of the ball. It trickled about 3 feet in front of the plate. Hendricks charged out, barehand pickup. Looks to Stargell running to second. Knew he had no move there. Threw to first base to retire Robertson. Stargell's at second with 2 out. And the batter is the tough Manny Sanguillén. Sanguillén has a base hit, plus a steal and a run scored. 4 runs, 8 hits for Pittsburgh. No runs, 2 hits for Baltimore in Game 5 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Dukes gives a backward glance to Stargell's lead, and a good lead at second base. Sanguillén, the right-hand batter, hits a fly ball center field way. Blair comes on. He makes the knee-high catch to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left. So that puts the cover on 7 innings with a score. Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing.
We'll go over the Orioles as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Here are some of the statistics here at Three Rivers Stadium. Baltimore has scored 4 runs in these 3 games. On a home run by Frank Robinson on Tuesday, a pass ball and 2 sacrifice flies last night. And in the last 14 innings, Baltimore has had no runs and just 3 hits. And we come to the 8th inning and they trail 4-0. Hendricks leads it off, and here's Bill O'Donnell.
All right, Ellie Hendricks has fly to center. He walked against Briles in the 5th inning. This is the top of the 8th. Pittsburgh leading 4-0. Ground ball, back of first base. Mitted by Robertson, goes to the bag himself. Unassisted putout. Robertson retiring Elrod Hendricks on the first pitch as we're in the top of the 8th inning. That was a hot hammering smash just inside the first base foul line. Robertson was a good 5 strides deep behind the bag, got the ball right in the mitt, and then outchased Hendricks to retire him unassisted. 1 gone, top of the 8th. Here is Brooks Robinson. He has singled and bounced into a double play. He and Powell have the only base hits off right-hander Briles. Briles cranks up and moves the ball outside. Ball 1. Brooks Robinson is 6 for 15 in this World Series. He was 9 for 21 in the World Series a year ago against Cincinnati. Pumping, delivering 1-0. Here's a high drive deep to left field. Stargell is on the warning track. He's got it. Brooks Robinson pulled it, but not deep enough. Stargell was playing deep and left, galloped back 2 or 3 strides, hit the warning area to retire Brooks Robinson. So Briles has set down 2 fellows who can hit long balls, Hendricks and Brooks Robinson. Now he meets the right-hand swinging second baseman, Dave Johnson. 2 gone, bases empty. Here's a high pop-up. Shortstop Hernandez to the outfield carpet in fair ground. Hernandez for the 3rd out. In the middle of the 8th inning, Justice Briles sets down Baltimore 1-2-3. It's Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing.
Back in Pittsburgh for the last of the 8th inning. Down in the Pittsburgh bullpen, Steve Blass, who pitched that marvelous game on Tuesday, winning 5-1, has been throwing, and we would hazard a guess that Blass is simply loosening up. He did not pitch, of course, yesterday, and this is the 2nd day, and he may be just loosening up. Blass, along with Bob Johnson, possible starter on Saturday in the 6th game, and both are listed possible starters for Sunday. The last of the 8th, the Pirates up. Here's Bill O'Donnell.
And Jose Pagan swings and doesn't get a hard breaking ball under his knees. Strike 1. McNally struck out Pagan in the 2nd. Pagan had a base hit in the 4th, fly to center in the 5th inning. Dukes has been on the scene in relief following McNally and Leonard since the 6th inning. He's given up 1 base hit and hit a man. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike to Pagan. This is the lower end, the tail end of the Pirate batting order, with Pagan starting off, to be followed by Hernandez and Briles. Dukes winding, guns in the 1-1. Here's a high foul to the right of home plate. Coming down is Powell from first base. He bangs into Hendricks. It's in the mid. He rolls over, and Powell holds onto it. About 30 feet away from home plate and about 3 steps in foul ground. Powell, the big 260-pounder, was charging into foul territory. He and Hendricks were both under the foul pop-up. Powell got his mid out, then banged into Hendricks. Powell rolled over, but kept it in the mid. Pagan has fouled out. 1 away, bottom of the 8th inning. Here's Jackie Hernandez, the 8th man, on the right-hand swinging Pirate shortstop. He hits the ground foul, beat to 3rd. 1 strike to Hernandez. Now, when you've got a big man like Powell, 260 pounds plus, rushing down towards the toothpick build of an Elrod Hendricks, that's like a motorcycle being hit by a truck. Hernandez, 0-1. Hits a line drive, base hit, center field. Hernandez has now been a base runner 3 times in this game with 2 base hits and also hit by a pitch. Now Pirate fans welcome Nelson Briles. With 1 out, escapes off first base, and Powell is holding. The set to the belt, Dukes delivers. Briles turns, bunts in front of the plate. Bare-hand pickup by the catcher. Hendricks throws to first, in time to Johnson covering. And on the sacrifice by Briles, the 2nd time he's done that today, and done it the same way, pushing it in front of the plate. Hendricks does the fielding bare-hand job again and throws out Briles. Hernandez motors to second with 2 out. and the batter will be Dave Cash. Cash hitless today, plus a walk. 3 hits in the series. Not known for power. Does drive the ball a lot to the opposite field. That would be right field for his right-hand swings. Dukes with a backward look to Hernandez. Good leadoff second base. Cash strokes a line drive to short and gloved by the shortstop Belanger. He just took 1 stride to his glove side. So 8 innings are complete in Game 5 of the World Series. And the score is Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore 0.
Jim Simpson with Bill O'Donnell, and we're to the top of the 9th inning, and the Baltimore Orioles have not been able to scratch against Nelson Briles today, who has pitched a masterful 2-hit shutout thus far, but he has been masterful throughout the month of September. Now you can add October to it. And the Orioles have now gone since the first inning last night without a run. That means the last 16 innings they have been held scoreless by Pirate pitching. And they're starting off with their number 8 batter in their last chance here in the ninth. Pirates lead it 4-0. And here's Bill O'Donnell.
Well, for Baltimore fans right now, Jim, it's do time or die time in the top of the 9th inning. Briles with a 4-run lead, pitching to Belanger. Right down the middle, letter high, strike 1. The due batter was reliever Dukes, but he's not in the on-deck area. Merv Rettenmund, a right-hand batter, is there. Winding Briles, 0-1. Slider low, 1 ball and 1 strike. He took a little something off that pitch. Pagan at third again has inched inside the bag against Belanger. Belanger has great speed down the first baseline. Briles 1-1. High, 2 balls and 1 strike. The Pirate outfield extremely spread for Belanger. They gap power alleys to Belanger in left center and right center. Count is 2 balls, 1 strike to Belanger, starting off Baltimore's top of the 9th. Briles cranks up, 2-1. Here's a ground ball right at third baseman Pagan inside the bag. Belanger is out. Pagan to Robertson. Merv Rettenmund will now be announced. Rettenmund to bat for Tom Dukes. Rettenmund in the World Series is 4 hits in 17 trips, including a first game 3-run homer at Baltimore. And that's where Game 6 and possibly Game 7 will be played Saturday and possibly Sunday. Baltimore will very definitely throw Jim Palmer against Pittsburgh on Saturday. It will either be Bob Johnson or Steve Blass for Danny Murtaugh's Pirates. Rettenmund, right-hand swinger with extra base power and often with long ball power. He closes his stance deep in the box. Pitches inside high, ball 1. Pagan 2 or 3 steps wide of third, but even with the bag. Deep left is Stargell. Deep center straight away is Clines. Normal depth to right center, Clemente. The 1-0 coming to the pinch hitter, Rettenmund. Strike is at his letters. 1 ball and 1 strike. Briles faced only 3 men in the first, 4 in the second, 3 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, 3 in the sixth, 3 in the seventh, and 3 last inning. 1-1er to Rettenmund. Breaking ball comes low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Just 2 singles off Nelson Briles. Brooks Robinson with 2 out in the second. Boog Powell with 1 out in the 7th. And then Powell was rubbed out on Frank Robinson's double play ground ball, 3rd, 2nd to 1st. Rettenmund, 2-1. Inside, right at the hands, 3 balls and 1 strike. In the Pittsburgh bullpen, it's left-hander Luke Walker and right-handed bullpen ace Dave Justice. After Rettenmund, it'll be the top of Baltimore's order with Don Buford. And for one of the few times today, Briles has taken a long, relaxing pause at the mound. Now he's ready to shoot in the 3-1. In he comes. Strike is called. He's 3 balls, 2 strikes to Rettenmund. 1 away in the top of the 9th inning. Briles has shut the door in every inning thus far against Baltimore's bats. Well, Pirate fans were very pleased with the job Steve Blass did in Game 3. They're even more pleased with Briles right now. 3-2. Ground ball to the bag at third. Scooped out by Pagan. Throws out Redmond. Both Belanger and Redmond have bounced out corner to corner. Pagan to Robertson. 2 out. Bases empty. Don Buford's the batter. Don Buford, the graduate of the University of Southern California. And a lad, although he was only 160 pounds at USC, he was in their backfield with the likes of a Willie Wood. 2 out, bases clean. Briles to Buford. High and outside. Buford, switch swinger, so he's batting left-handed against the right-hand offerings of Nelson Briles. Series tied, 2 victories apiece. The Pirates lead in Game 5, 4-0, top of the 9th, 1-0. Low and tight, 2 balls, no strikes to the good eyes of Buford. During 1971, Buford walked 89 times, was hit 7 times by opposing pitchers, had 130 base hits, and that's how great his on-base percentage was. He's been held off the bases thus far today by Briles. 2-0 coming in. Ball 3. Briles has walked but 1 man, and that was Hendricks to begin the top of the 5th inning. He's in danger now against Buford, trailing on a 3-ball, no-strike count. Around with his right arm, delivers. Ball 4. He throws 4 pitches out of the strike zone, and Baltimore with 2 out gets a base runner here in the top of the 9th inning. Now it'll be Paul Blair, who has looked at strike 3, who has flied to right and flied to center. For the first time today, there is a mound meeting involving the Pirates, involving young second baseman Cash, veteran catcher Sanguillén, and the 28-year-older Nelson Briles. Briles, as Jim Simpson told you earlier in this broadcast, has not appeared in a ball game since the 30th of September, and that was only a 3-inning start against the Phillies. Buford's lead not held by Robertson with 2 out at first base. Blair ducks back. The pitch is in at his chin. 1 ball, no strikes to Blair. Boog Powell is on deck. And now we've got the top lieutenant of Danny Murtaugh's coaching staff, Bill Verdon, making his first visit to the mound. Again, a reminder now, the Pirates are keeping their bullpen warm here in the top of the 9th with tall left-hander Walker and the top ace of the Pirate bullpen crew, right-hander Dave Justy. Briles at the mound, surrounded by third baseman Pagan, by catcher Sanguillén, and coach Bill Verdon. Now, Verdon, I'm sure, is out there for a couple of reasons. Perhaps inquiring of Briles, how strong do you feel? Additionally, maybe urging Briles to just relax and not try to be too fine. Verdon has departed. Sanguillén now settles back behind the plate. Briles checking the wigwagging of his catcher Sanguillén. Looks to Buford, the long lead at first base. He gets the strike into Blair. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pagan, as he did against Buford and against Belanger to begin the inning, well inside the bag at third. Blair 1-1. Takes a breaking ball for a strike, and Blair complaining on the outside corner call by plate umpire Jim Oden. So Briles strikes ahead of Blair at 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 away in the top of the 9th inning after the 2-out free ticket to Buford on 4 pitches. Robertson is extremely wide of the first base foul line and does not hold on Buford's real long lead. Briles on the 1-2, sets, throws. Here's a ground trickler well inside the bag at third. Pagan throws to second. The ball game is over. Pagan gets the force play on a toss to catch. Briles on the 1-2, sets, throws. Here's a ground trickler well inside the bag at third. Pagan throws to second. The ball game is over. Pagan gets the force play on a toss to Cash on the sliding Buford. Pittsburgh wins Game 5 of the World Series 4-0. And now the World Series goes back to Baltimore for Game 6 on Saturday. The Pirates won 3 in a row here at Three Rivers Stadium after Baltimore won the first 2 at Memorial Stadium. And Pittsburgh leads in this World Series 3 victories to 2. The final score, Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing, and we'll have some highlights for you right after this message.
As it turned out, the leadoff home run by Bob Robertson in the Pirates' second inning was all that Nelly Briles needed as he pitches a 2-hit shutout. Sanguillén followed with a single, stole second, and rode home when Nelly Briles himself singled in the second run. Dave McNally, today's loser, who's now 3-2 in World Series play, 1-1 in this World Series, guilty of walking a man. Brooks Robinson committed an error, and a wild pitch scored the third run. The fourth run came on in the fifth inning when Clines tripled, and Clemente brought him home with a base hit, 4-0. And the Orioles never had more than one man on base in any inning in the ball game. Never a threat. We'll continue with today's highlights right after this message. Pittsburgh leads 3 games to 2, needs to win only one of the final 2. One more win, and they've got the World's Championship. Baltimore, on the other hand, has to win 2 to win the 1971 World title and complete their successful defense. And to do that, the Orioles need some runs. They have now gone 17 innings against Pirate pitching since the first inning last night, with no score at all in those 17 innings. And we'll have a final word for you about today's game right after this message. Briles the winner, McNally the loser, and the Pirates lead 3 games to 2. From Pittsburgh, this is Jim Simpson along with Bill O'Donnell. The 5th game of the World Series has been brought to you by Gillette Foamy, the #1 shave cream that makes you an old smoothie. By Chrysler Corporation, extra care and engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge dealer. By STP Corporation, makers of world-famous STP oil treatment. The Owens Illinois Forest Products Division, a leading producer of corrugated packaging. By the Retail Clerks International Association, dedicated exclusively to the interest of store workers. And by the National Bowling Council. No matter what your game is, there's another game in town. Bowling, it's for everybody. The final score, once again in the 5th game of the World Series, Pittsburgh 4, Baltimore nothing. This has been an NBC Radio Network production.
Baseball.